When it comes to mysterious disappearances, there are few that garnered as much attention as the case of Maura Murray. Often called by many the first crime mystery of the social media age, it has become one of the most puzzling cases of modern times. To this day, thousands of internet detectives share theories about what exactly happened on the night of February 9th, 2004. But despite the collective effort of so many people and multiple police investigations, no one seems to know what has become of the missing woman. Many only have fragmented knowledge of the events before and after the mysterious disappearance, painting an incomplete picture. So today, I will try to make sense out of dozens of interviews, allegations and theories flying around the internet. This is the story of Maura Murray. On May 4, 1982, Frederick and Laurie Murray welcomed their fourth child, Maura Murray, into the world. She was raised in an Irish Catholic household, as did most children in her neighborhood. When Maura was only 6 years old, her parents divorced for unknown reasons. She was mostly under her mother's care, but maintained a close relationship with her father, often going on trips into the wilderness with him. During her high school years, she was known as a star athlete, thanks to her incredible achievements in the track team. Along with her older sister Julie, she would train with her dad, who was also a skilled runner. However, it seems their relationship was far from idyllic at this point. James Renner, a journalist investigating the case, talked with two acquaintances of Maura from her high school years, and they both pointed out Fred Murray's strange behavior. When I first heard about the details of her disappearance, I thought she may have wandered into the woods, that her body would be found in the spring. But then, her father was a real piece of work. He was always screaming at her at meets. The father is a psycho. Never saw him smile. He was a drill sergeant. I think sports should be fun, but it seemed he never enjoyed his kids' success. He didn't make life easy for her. When she disappeared, my first thought was that she staged it to get away. I think she planned to have someone meet her, help her get away. After graduating, Maura went on to study chemical engineering in the United States Military Academy in West Point, New York. There, she met a man named Bill Roche, whom she started dating. However, she was quickly forced to leave West Point. In August 2001, Maura was caught stealing makeup from the Fort Knox's commissary, which led to severe consequences. Because of the prestigious nature of the school she was attending, she was quickly placed before the Cadet Advisory Board, where she pleaded guilty. The school's honor board then recommended Maura be separated from the Corps of Cadets, which would greatly stain her good name and career opportunities. Because of this, she instead voluntarily withdrew from West Point and transferred to University of Massachusetts Amherst to study nursing. There, she was caught by police committing a different crime. In early November 2003, a female student from UMass discovered some weird charges on her credit card statement. Apparently, this very card was used multiple times to order takeout food from Pinocchio's Pizza, without the knowledge of the card's owner. Amherst police quickly discovered that the person behind this fraud was none other than Maura Murray. These two instances of theft were particularly puzzling, as she was usually seen by most as a well-behaved girl, and though her family wasn't particularly rich, she never seemed to struggle financially. The judge gave Maura an ultimatum. Her record would be wiped clean if she will stay out of trouble for 3 months. However, this proved difficult for her. On February 5th, she was seen talking with her older sister Kathleen on the phone. The conversation reportedly ended with Maura breaking into tears and zoning out for the rest of the day. Though this event was the subject of many theories, in an interview conducted with Kathleen in 2017, she explained what has happened that day. Maura's older sister was a recovering alcoholic, and after finishing her rehabilitation, her fiancé immediately took her to a liquor store. This information was what led Maura to her emotional breakdown. 2 days later, she met with her father to look for a new car. In the evening, the young nursing student wanted to attend a dorm party, so Fred allowed her to borrow his car, as the one she was using was in a bad state. Unfortunately, when leaving said party, she ended up causing an accident bumping into a guardrail on Road 9 in Hadley and causing nearly $10,000 worth of damage to her father's car. Fred was, understandably, angry at his daughter, as this could potentially put a lot of financial stress on the family. Fortunately, it turned out the damage sustained by the car was going to be covered by Fred's auto insurance. But Maura was still under probation for the credit card fraud, and this incident could potentially influence the jury's decision when it came to wiping her record clear. Many speculate that these events were the reason for her strange behavior before the disappearance, though no one can know for certain. February 9, 2004 was the day of Maura's disappearance. The young nursing student started it by searching a service called MapQuest for directions to the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont. Later, she sent the following message to her boyfriend, Bill Rausch. "I love you more, stud. I got your messages, but honestly I didn't feel like talking too much of anyone. I promise to call today though. Love you, Maura." Next, she tried to rent a condominium in Bartlett, New Hampshire, where she used to stay with her family. However, in the end she did not rent the place. Instead, about an hour later, she inquired about booking hotels in Stove, Vermont. At 1:24 p.m., she informed all of her professors that she would not attend classes this week due to a death in the family, despite the fact that no one in her family passed away at the time. About an hour later, she called her boyfriend and promised they would talk soon. And then she started packing. She placed most of her belongings in boxes as if she was moving out, while taking clothing, toiletries, college textbooks, and birth control pills to her 1996 Saturn sedan. In her apartment, she left a printed email addressed to her boyfriend in which she highlighted the problems in their relationship. Around 3:30 p.m., she left the campus in her car. Her journey took approximately 4 hours. At 3:40, she made a first stop to withdraw all of her money from a nearby ATM, a total of $280. She spent about 40 of those in a liquor store to buy a variety of alcohols. Later, she picked up accident report forms from the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles and left for New Hampshire. Her last recorded activity was a call she made to check her voicemail at 4:37 p.m. The following 3 hours of her journey are shrouded in mystery. Around 7 p.m., a woman named Faith Westman heard a loud noise outside of her house. When she looked out the window, she saw a black Saturn lodged in a snowbank after hitting a tree. At 7:27 p.m., she called the Grafton County Sheriff's Department to report the accident. The car was also seen by 2 other citizens of New Hampshire, Virginia and John Marott. However, they only saw it flashing the emergency lights. Few moments later, a bus driver called Arthur Butch Atwood drove past Maura and asked her if she needed help. He also offered to call the police, but Maura pleaded him not to do it, saying she already called the American Automobile Association. This seemed strange to Atwood as he knew there was no cell reception where she crashed, but since she didn't seem hurt or drunk, he decided to leave her be. Still, just in case, after reaching his home, he called the police. A woman, later referred to as Witness A, was passing the crash scene on a motorcycle and noticed a police SUV parked next to the broken car, a few minutes earlier than the police supposedly arrived according to official police logs. At 7:46 p.m., Sergeant Cecil Smith arrived at the scene. He found the black Saturn locked, with airbags deployed and a cracked windshield. Maura Murray, however, was nowhere to be found. Upon further examination, Sergeant Smith found a box of Franzia wine behind the driver's seat of the vehicle and many red stains on both inside the car as well as around it. A Coke bottle filled with alcohol was also found inside the black vehicle. Other items found in Maura's car were an AAA card, insurance forms, gloves, compact discs, makeup, computer-generated direction for Burlington and Stove, Vermont, and a book Maura had been reading by Nicholas Hoff, Not Without Peril. What police never found were her debit card, credit card, cell phone, and the bottles of alcohol other than wine that she has bought before leaving Amherst. At first, no one thought much of the incident, assuming that the girl will be found easily as these sort of cases apparently happen from time to time. But no one has anticipated one thing. Somehow, Maura Murray left no traces after disappearing.
They searched with dogs, by air, and on foot. They've checked everything from bus logs to snow tracks, and now, after 10 days, officials say they have suspended the ground search for 21-year-old Maura Murray.
What we wanted to do was make sure that we had done everything twice, and wanted to be able to come, for instance, and say to the family, we have searched this area extensively, and we have a very good feeling that we've done everything that we can do to assure that she's not in the vicinity of the crash site.
Officials even went a step further when asked if they thought Murray left the scene of her January 9th car accident on her own.
At this point, I have no reason not to believe that.
No footprints leading into the forest. No bloodstains on the ground. Even police dogs dispatched to look for her apparently lost her scent only 100 yards east from where her vehicle had been discovered. Just one day later, official search began. A massive manhunt was conducted around the area where her car was found. But still, no clue about the girl's fate was ever found. The police couldn't even determine whether she was dead or alive, whether somebody kidnapped her, or if she left of her own free will. Because of this, after 10 days, FBI has joined the search, yet even this was not enough. Every potential clue turned out to be unrelated to the case, including a mysterious call Bill Roche received a few days after the disappearance, which was traced to a calling card issued to American Red Cross, and a pair of women's gloves found near the accident site, which according to DNA testing, did not belong to Maura. Despite the police's efforts, the Murray family was highly critical of their attempts.
This is just part of overturning the next stone to see what's under it. But it's incredibly hard, and it's terribly frustrating.
A determined father returns to court seeking answers in his daughter's disappearance. State investigators have amassed 2,500 documents in connection with Maura Murray's case. Fred Murray's attorney says keeping the files secret is against the law.
None have been produced on the grounds that all of the records fall within a claimed exemption to the New Hampshire right to know law.
Maura Murray disappeared almost 3 years ago after crashing her car in a snowbank in Woodsville in February of '04. The investigative files in her case include phone records, witness interviews, and criminal record checks. The state argues releasing any of that information could put any potential future prosecution in jeopardy.
We want to be sure that when we find out what happened to Maura Murray, that if it involved a crime, that we can bring that person to justice.
But at this point, Murray's disappearance has not been classified as a crime, and the justices wanted to know why.
Shouldn't the state at the very least concede that it's a criminal investigation? I gather the state hasn't even done that.
We cannot, with 100% certainty, say that a crime has been committed.
Her father remains frustrated at the lack of progress in the case. He's hopeful this hearing will convince the justices that a judge should review all the documents and determine what can be released.
If you keep it a missing person case forever, you never have to say anything at all about what you did. And that's what's happening right under our noses here, folks.
This led Fred Murray to start his own search, which he continued for many weeks. Yet to this day, nothing that could shed light onto this mysterious case was ever found. Instead, it served many as a controversial method to achieve a short-lived popularity. In his search, Fred Murray came across a man in late 2004 who claimed to know what happened to his daughter. The man gave Fred a rusty knife which supposedly belonged to his brother, saying that Maura was killed with it. This alleged killer lived only a mile away from where the accident took place and had a criminal past. He and his girlfriend were seen acting strangely around the time of Maura's disappearance, though what this statement means exactly is not clear. However, the man's family claimed that the story was made up in order to gain reward money offered by the police. Despite that, Fred sent the knife for analysis to the police's headquarters, but never got an answer. Yet again, he decided to take the investigation into his own hands. He sought out a real estate agent that would grant him permission to investigate the A-frame house where the owner of the rusty knife used to live. When he got it, he quickly searched the property with a cadaver dog, looking for a dead body that could be somewhere in the house. The dog was particularly interested in a downstairs closet, which led Fred and his team to a conclusion that somebody's corpse had to be there. But it wasn't until 2019 when a new owner of the property allowed a thorough search. After excavating the house and the ground nearby, this lead turned out to be fake. Nothing except some pottery and old pipes was ever found.
It's hopeless, helpless, that's what it is.
For Fred Murray, the father of missing UMass Amherst student Maura Murray, it was a day of emotion watching the FBI evidence response team work with New Hampshire State Police to search the basement of a house just yards away from where Maura Murray vanished in February 2004.
You strongly
feel Maura is here?
I do. I strongly feel Maura's here.
On February 9, 2004, Maura Murray packed up her belongings at UMass Amherst and unexpectedly drove to New Hampshire. She vanished at the crash site after refusing help. Word-of-mouth suspicion from neighbors led the Murray family to look at this house. And late last year and this spring, private investigators say cadaver dogs and ground-penetrating radar indicated the possibility that a human body was buried here. Jennifer Kofelis is an archaeologist invited to the search by Maura's family.
You gotta look. I mean, it could be, I hope for Fred's sake and for Maura's sake and for her family's sake that this is her. The goal today is to bring Maura home.
But after a day of searching, New Hampshire Assistant Attorney General Jeffrey Strelzin emerged announcing this search turned up no evidence of Maura Murray or anyone else.
They were looking for evidence connected to the missing persons case of Maura Murray. I can tell you that no evidence was found in connection with that case.
For Fred Murray, it was devastating news.
This one hurts because I thought we finally had it. This one is worse than the other false alarms or dead ends.
However, this was only the first out of many false leads that have started to surface throughout the years. In early 2012, a weird channel called 112 Dirtbag appeared on YouTube. It began uploading mysterious videos that seemed to be somewhat associated with the case of Maura Murray. This culminated on February 9th with a video called Mr. 112 Dirtbag, which showed a man maniacally laughing for about a minute. After fading to black, the screen showed a simple, ominous message: Happy Anniversary. The date it was posted was the anniversary of Maura Murray's disappearance, and given the previous videos on the channel, the meaning of this short clip became clear. Many internet detectives concluded that the man might very well be the perpetrator behind Maura's disappearance, taunting the police. Others said that it was probably a mentally unwell person trying to garner some attention. However, both sides were wrong. The video was traced back to a man called Alden Olson, a big fan of true crime himself, and his video turned out to be a controversial attempt to remind the public about this unsolved case. Though his intentions were somewhat altruistic, others used similar tactics for their own gains. A channel called Maura Murray Loves Me appeared on YouTube in 2017, yet again using this tragedy as basis for its disturbing content. The channel's purpose other than seeking attention is unclear at the time, though the videos found there supposedly show where Maura's body has been stored. But given the unrealistic production values of these videos, it's highly unlikely that their creator has anything to do with the actual case. Fortunately, others have used their talents to help the cause, even if they have been known for making some controversial allegations. And the most controversial person in this case was probably James Renner, a journalist who became interested in the case in 2011. Since then, he dug deep into the mystery, conducting many interviews with people close to Maura. His research culminated in a 2017 book, True Crime Addict. Some of his claims, though based mostly on assumptions, are highly probable. For example, he claimed that one possible reason for Maura to disappear was her relationship with Bill Rausch. Bill was supposedly violent and controlling, which seems likely considering he was later accused multiple times of attempting sexual assault. Renner has also uncovered an affair Maura had with her coach. Most people he interviewed seemed to believe that she simply escaped her previous life, though if this is the case, her new identity has never been found, even despite Renner's 6-year-long hunt. In 2017, a true crime channel called Oxygen made a 6-episode documentary called The Disappearance of Maura Murray, trying to, yet again, uncover the mystery. But even this attempt seemed to lead nowhere, providing absolutely zero new leads. And to this day, the case of Maura Murray has not been solved, despite its enormous popularity. It has been 17 years since Maura Murray disappeared, and though many professional and amateur detectives have given it their all to find her, the case never moved forward since the day her broken car was found on Route 112. Since then, she hasn't given any signs of life, leading most to believe she met with a gruesome fate. Still, some believe that she can be found, and even today, thousands of internet sleuths go over every detail that could potentially bring them closer to the truth. But it seems every answer in this case raises even more questions, and none point to what could happen to the missing nursing student. And as numerous people lost themselves in the flurry of details, many have lost sight of the most important question that still lingers in our minds. What happened to Maura Murray?